So I realized there's this pattern within our communities that even when we're doing something so wrong, the minute someone questions us or corrects us, now it's almost as though they're being racist.
That's funny because aren't there, no, a lot of girls are posting half naked stuff online for validation anyway. Does that count as a pick me? I don't know.
But with us, we get upset because someone didn't pronounce your name wrong. That's privilege. You're a spoiled brat.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in the spot, which means I have a great conversation lined up for you today. Usually on this channel, we talk about dating relationships, but today we're going to slide into something a bit different of some current affairs that's been happening. She's been making the news. You know, some people love her, some people hate her for some of her takes on the recent attack in Peckham. So we're going to chat about that, delve into that, and we'll probably touch on dating a little bit as well. But without further ado, please welcome Syntyche back to the show.
Hi guys, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm great today. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. It's been a good few months since we last see you. And
yes.
The other response when we had her on before, a lot of people appreciated that.
Oh, thank you.
For sure. So we always love good energy people. But
thank you.
So listen, we're going to dive into like the incident.
Let's get into it.
First off, tell us your age or your age range and tell us one thing a guy should know about you if you want to take you on a date. Okay,
I am 24. And one thing a guy should know about me is I love God. Yeah, so I'm very much into God right now. I'm very much just want to be married. I'm not here for like the talking stages and the playful thing. Like
ready for a husband.
I'm ready to just nurture something or someone. So I hope that person knows that before approaching me.
Okay, so you're a real Christian girl.
Real Christian. Well, I try to be. No one's perfect, but I try to be. I'm trying so hard to just align myself with what God wants from me. So with that comes not just being someone's playful thing or just dating just for fun. No, we're not doing that anymore.
And are you looking for like a real Christian guy too?
Yes, you have to be. Like in the Bible it says you have to be equally yoked, and it just makes more sense. Like I don't want to have to argue with someone about praying at night, praying with my children, going to church. It's just a bit long. So yeah, I'm looking for a Christian guy.
I hear that. Equally yoked.
Equally
woke. Let's chat about it. So the Peckham attack.
Yes.
Right? Woman in the store with the owner handling her. Let's start from the beginning. What have you seen and what do you know about what happened?
Yeah. So the first time I saw it, I believe this was the original footage. And I remember thinking, why would that girl hit the guy in his head? Because anyone who's been hit in the temple or the eye, that's a big trigger. Like you just kind of switch. So I saw that he strangled her and I thought, oh, that's wrong as well. Like he could have handled it better. I thought he was a security guard. And as a security guard, you have some kind of training. Like there's some areas you can't touch around the neck. So when I first saw that, I thought they're both immediately in the wrong. And I also saw the caption and the woman said that the girl, she deserved it. So I thought, okay, maybe she might have been the aggressor in the situation because no one's just going to manhandle you like that. So yeah, when I saw it, I just thought, yeah, they're both in the wrong. But what was so disturbing to me was the fact that there was a protest.
A protest of what?
Protesting that Black Lives Matter, protesting that Indians should leave Peckham, protesting that Black people should take over the store, protesting that the guy should go to jail. The protest was one of the most embarrassing things to happen in the UK. I could not believe that people were protesting for the rights of a wig thief.
So, okay, so we've gone from we're seeing footage of her hitting him, him handling her, to protesting wig thief. First, how do you know she was a wig thief?
Because I saw the evidence. I saw the video of her. Basically, she requested for a refund and he said he doesn't want to give her a refund. So her response to that was, no, he said that he was going to offer her in exchange. So her response to that is, let me just take anything and everything from the store, which was more than what she initially paid for. And when he tried to stop her from doing that by pushing her out of the store, into the store from not leaving, she slapped him across the face. So you can literally see the CCTV evidence of her just taking things because she couldn't get her refund. And I just feel like that's so unacceptable.
Okay, so he said that he would part exchange it. And then she was like, okay, she was kind of saying, I'm going to take this, this, and this. And then he put his hands on her first, okay, to like get her out the store. Yeah. And then that's when the whole thing ensued.
That's when it escalated.
Okay. Yeah. Why do you think people were protesting?
I think people were protesting because I feel like Black Lives Matter has corrupted a lot of Black people's minds to think that they are always the victim. Even when they're the aggressor, even when they're clearly in the wrong. I'm not saying the Asian guy was not in the wrong, but what has happened ever since Black Lives Matter is that anytime a black person is in trouble with the law or is in trouble with someone who is non-black, all of a sudden now they are the victim. Like you saw it with the Mizzy situation. You know that guy that was walking into people's houses?
No,
just walking in as a prank. And he was on Piers Morgan's show, and Piers Morgan questioned him and said, why would you do that? Like, you're invading people's space and privacy.
True.
He said, you're racist. You're being racist, Piers. So I realized there's this pattern within our communities that even when we're doing something so wrong, the minute someone questions us or corrects us, now it's almost as though they're being racist and we need to defend our rights. No, let's defend our rights when it's time to defend our rights and it's actual racism. And it's an actual attack. But a situation like that where you're clearly the aggressor, you've walked into someone's store, you're not respecting their rules and their boundaries and their authority. Now people are protesting. It wasn't the right reason to protest. And what's so funny is that recently a 15-year-old girl was stabbed over the whole knife crime situation. Where was the protest? Why haven't we protested about knife crime?
Why do you think they didn't protest that?
Because there's nothing financially beneficial about it.
Or is it because it was another black boy?
Yeah, it was another black boy that as well.
Stabbing a black girl.
Another black boy, but then that's the thing. The black community, I feel like we don't hold each other accountable. So that's why I felt compelled to actually get up and say something like, why don't we hold each other accountable? This is kind of what's holding us back. And I don't say that because I'm anti-black. I say that because I love my community. I want us to do better. But I just feel like Black Lives Matter has led people to believe that any and every little thing, let's just go out and protest, even when we're in the wrong.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And I agree, we have to hold ourselves accountable. I think a lot of people would ask why, they'd look at you and be like, oh, you're a black woman. So like, why can't you identify with her and see how she was handled in all of this? It's like, why make the point, and I don't disagree with you, but I have to ask this question. Why make the point of going, oh, we have to take accountability when even if she was the initial aggressor, clearly the man was bigger than her, he was stronger than her, he handled her, he had his hands around her throat at one point. Do you know what I mean? So she's not completely innocent, but there's an element of he could have handled it better, especially taking into account he's bigger than her and she's a woman, right? So I think a lot of people would be like, well, why are you saying that we have to take accountability when actually the actions that actually went on, right? He clearly dominated the situation and he didn't need to use that much excessive force is the argument people would use. So what would you say to those people?
I think for the people that are saying that is just look at the video. Look at the video. In no way, shape or form am I saying that what the man did was okay or was justifiable. I repeated in so many videos, the guy was bigger than her. He should have done some kind of security course to know how to handle a woman that's smaller than her. But my thing is that you can see in the video that she was the aggressor. She was the trigger point. And you see that not just a lot in the black community, but even just in the female community as well. Women trigger men. Women genuinely trigger men. Like, you've come into the store, you're taking things. The guy has tried to stop you by pushing you. And your immediate reaction is, let me slap a man across the face.
It's true.
Imagine I've walked into your house, I want to take something, you don't let me, and I slapped you across the face. Do you understand? So again, she was so far from innocent in that situation. She was definitely the aggressor. She was definitely the trigger. And she definitely just acted out of order. Her behavior wasn't like this light, oh no, just argumentative. You know how some girls, they'll be mouthy. No, you clapped him across the face. You threw the basket in his head. And, as a man, it happens. You're going to kind of lose it a little bit. No way, shape or form should he have done that. And another thing about the whole, you're a black woman, that topic to me, that I don't get it. Just because we're the same skin color, that means I have to say, do you know what, you're on the right. It's not okay. Because what if I own a store one day and she might want to come into my store and take things? Am I now going to say, because you're black, you can walk into my store and take things? So it just goes back to my point. What do we want? Do we want equal rights or do we want privileged rights? What do we want? Because I'm equal. So I can equally say another black woman, she was wrong for doing that. So was the man. But privilege is saying we're the same skin color, so let's just pin everything on that man and protest that he should leave his own store that he's been running for 20 years. Ridiculous.
I agree. I agree. Do you think that it's funny because women, we hear a lot in the media, there's this fear of men, going out at night and all of this stuff. But then in that kind of scenario, she clearly was not afraid of him because she just slapped him around the head, right? She just slapped him around the head. So do you think there's an element of women feeling they can be more physical. I guess what I should ask you is, do you think if it was a woman, that if the guy was a woman, do you think she would have still slapped him or slapped the person? Like, if he was a woman, do you think she would have been as physically aggressive with him?
I don't think she would have.
Why do you think
Excuse me if I'm wrong. I don't think she would have, because there's this rule in society that if you touch a girl, you're automatically a pussy. I don't know if I can say that word.
Yeah.
You're automatically like a simp. Not only that, but legally you can get in trouble as well. So that's why women, they just go around being very aggressive with men, because they know that if a man reacts, the consequences are peak. Whereas when a woman reacts, the consequences are not going to be. So that's why you see women, they'll just be going out being so aggressive with men, because they know he can't do anything. Do you understand?
So it's almost like because the law favors women when it comes to any physical altercation with a man, there's almost this sense of security for women to be like, if you touch me, you're going to be in serious trouble, so I can get away with this.
I've seen that with women. Women, like, she'll be so upset with her ex, and then she might just say, oh, well, he did this to me, or he did that to me, because they know the law, the police, whatever is going to favor them because she's a woman. And the man is automatically going to be demonized. Yeah. That's the society we live in.
Do you think that if someone puts their hands on you, whether man or woman, then that person has every right to defend themselves, no matter how, any way, shape or form?
If they put their hands on me?
Yeah. So if somebody puts their hands on you, is it like, oh, okay, well, because you put your hands on me, I can defend myself anyhow?
I think for me, it depends on the situation. Like, if I know I've disrespected someone and they've put their hands on me, I mean, obviously, naturally, my first thought might be, let me react. But because I know I disrespected them, it's just like, okay, this is kind of deserved. But if it's a thing where it's like it's for no reason, oh, we're going at it. We're going at it.
Yeah, of course.
We're beefing, do you understand?
Yeah.
So, it depends on the situation. If I know I did something to disrespect the person, then it's probably going to be well deserved.
Yeah, 100%. Let me ask you something. So, who have you found has been giving you the most heat and the most hate, and who have you found has been coming to your defense?
So shockingly, when I posted that video, I thought I was going to get a lot of backlash, but a good 90% of people were like, wow, Syntyche, thank you. And what was even more shocking, there was actually black people too. They were like, Syntyche, I've been wanting to say this about my community, but I've been very, very scared of the backlash and heat, because the black community, if you get heat from them. But for the people who were against me, it was definitely black people. They was just saying things to me like, how can you not defend a black woman? Like, if you was in that situation, do you think Asians are going to defend you? And a lot of people were just saying things like, but you know what it's like to be a black woman in the store, or a black person in the store, people are going to stare at you and eye you up and things like that. And I'm just like, yawn. It's just yawn to me, because it's like, if you're a security guard, if you're a manager, like, it says in your contract that you have to vigilantly look at everybody in the store and pay attention to what's going on. If 95% of your customer base is black, guess what? 95% of the people you're going to be staring down are going to be black.
It's true.
It's not a race issue. It's not a race issue. It's simply just a behavior issue. Do you understand? So a few black people, because I'm not going to say it was a lot of backlash, but a few black people were just telling me like, you're black, you know what it's like, we're always systematically oppressed and things like that. I'm just like, I genuinely don't think is a thing of progression. I feel like we've progressed over that. Yes, racism exists here and there, but in that situation, it wasn't a race issue, it was a behavior issue.
Do you think we're systematically oppressed?
No.
No, why not?
No. I feel like the UK didn't promise equal outcome. It just promised equal opportunity. Everyone has an opportunity to go out and build something of themselves. Some people choose not to use it, and some people choose to use it. For example, I'm a career advisor, and I see it for myself. There's people who are 60, and they've been on benefits for like 30 years because they chose to do that. Do you understand? They could have used that money to build a business or something. And then you have people like my parents who came from Africa. My dad was a dustman. From a dustman, he went to a reception. Now he's a whole doctor. So like, from what I've seen so many colored people, black people, Asian people as well, that have built so much success for themselves. Even our prime minister, where's he from? He's from Pakistan. So you can't tell me it's a systematic thing anymore. I genuinely don't believe it doesn't exist. It's just, what do you decide to do with the opportunities you have here in the UK?
I agree. I don't think I don't think it's a systematic thing, but I do think there's still a level of cultural racial bias because growing up in this country, even though I'm a black individual, if I see a white man walking down the street, I'm like, oh, there's a man walking down the street. If I see a black man walking down the street, I'm like, oh, there's a black man walking down the street. So being like raised in this country, the default that we are conditioned to see is from the white default, is from the white perspective. And I think whether we realize it or not, that can still play into certain biases. Now, I think everybody has a level of racial bias to varying degrees, right? So I think it's important to acknowledge that sometimes racial bias does play a part within the culture, even if systematically what it's written like in the law, technically we're all equal under the law. But when it comes to individual basis, sometimes those things can play a part. Do you think that's true or no?
Do you know what? I feel like every human being is slightly, it's the term tribalistic.
Yes.
We love our tribe. We are more comfortable in our tribe. You even see it in animals. Do you understand?
We're very tribal.
And for me personally, the way I see it, racism does exist. It's still very much prominent. Discrimination, all of that, it does exist. But it just doesn't exist to the level that we're protesting about it at. Do you understand? It doesn't exist to the level that we're having this outroar and cry about. Yes, it exists in the sense that someone might look at my hair and think, oh, is that a wig or a weave? Or someone might look at me and think she's a bit too dark or her nose is too big. But I generally don't think it exists when it comes to like big things. Like, for example, businesses. Like if I'm a business owner and I see a black man wants to apply for a job, I can't afford to not hire them if they're actually good at the job. I can't afford to. Do you understand? Like, for example, all of my colleagues, most of them are Asian. And obviously it would have made more sense for my manager to hire another Asian person. Do you understand? But he hired me because I'm good at the job. Like he just wants to make money and help someone. So it exists, but just not to the extent that we're over exaggerating it to be. And I know that's going to sound crazy. Some people are going to be like, what? But come on now, like all of us, we've gone to school. We've gone to university. We have a job. We're able to get cars. We're able to go to the court and we're able to fight for the law. We're able to do whatever, like the basic things, the actual human right needs we have. But the little things like, oh, she didn't apply for the job because my hairstyle, this and this, that. It's just like, why are we even paying attention to that? Why are we even paying attention to these? She didn't pronounce my name the correct way. Well, my name is Syntyche. It's like no one ever gets it right. Am I now going to say that someone's racist and the systematic oppression because someone didn't get my name right? Come on.
No, it's true. It's true.
On.
Why do you think culturally we're so quick to say that's racism? Why do you think we're so quick to do that, especially as a black community?
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Honestly, I feel like since Black Lives Matter, there's just been like this uproar of like before black people used to experience racism. Now I feel like we're looking for racism. We're genuinely looking for it. Like who's trying to call me the N-word? Who's trying to say I'm this? We want it. We want to experience it. And so I just feel like ever since that Black Lives Matter movement, that's when we saw this uproar of like people actually speaking out. For example, Leanne, she was talking about her Little Mix experience. It was people talking about the music industry, the influencing industry, school. Everyone was finally exposing what they've been experiencing. And at first it was great. It was really, really good. It was good to see people finally just saying enough is enough. But what I don't like is the aftermath of it. And the aftermath is now we're just looking, who's racist? Let me call you out. I want to say this person's racist. And I can't stand it. I can't stand it. And this situation is a prime example. The guy is a business owner. He's been running the store for 20 years. He's providing products for black women for God knows how many years.
His main consumer base is black women.
Exactly. Like, why would he afford to do that? Let's think logically and let's stop thinking racially. Like, that happened because both their behaviors wasn't okay. It wasn't because of race. So I feel like Black Lives Matter just put that battery into I don't know what the saying is, but yeah, it just triggered it a lot more. Like we've become hypersensitive to anything that could be perceived as racism.
Yeah,
sorry. And for me personally, it's like if you look at our aunties and our uncles, like when they came into the UK, they experienced racism for real.
Boy. Yeah,
like my dad experienced real racism, but they're okay. But with us, we get upset because someone didn't pronounce your name wrong. That's privilege. You're a spoiled brat. You're spoiled.
Yeah, no, I hear that. So Black Lives Matter, a lot of that started from George Floyd. Do you think the George Floyd incident is a parallel to this, where do you think that wasn't racism and that wasn't kind of overaggression on the policeman's part? Or do you think what happened there was kind of because, I think it was like he had a fake dollar note or something. He had like a fake $20 note or something like that.
Oh, you ask me, like, is the George Floyd situation the same as the hair shop situation?
Yeah, in the sense that, do you think the hair shop situation, it's not racism, it was just a shop owner defending his shop, right? With the George Floyd, do you think that wasn't racism? That was just a cop exercising force on a potential criminal?
Sorry, I'm just trying to refresh my memory about the George Floyd.
Oh, so do you remember he died because a cop had like a knee, had his knee on his neck for a certain amount of time or something. And then that started a bunch of protests around the world.
That was definitely racism. For me personally, that was racism because that level of aggression, you could see he was trying to kill the guy. And the fact that there was cops standing around and they didn't defend him, I'm not sure if that was what was happening.
Yeah.
But that to me was racism. So yeah, that was racism for me personally. Yeah. And he didn't do anything. What was it he got arrested?
I think it was in the store and he was trying to pay with something with like a fake $20 note. It was something really trivial.
Yeah, that's what I would call that racism. Like the guy was not the aggressor. The guy was a victim. The guy was minding his business. Maybe he's poor, maybe he's broke, maybe he's desperate, and you're using that level of excessive force.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can go out and protest.
Yeah.
But something like what we saw in Peckham, there was no reason to protest.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and this is how I've always operated in my life, and especially because I grew up in a very rough area, and then halfway through my teens ended up going to like private school. So I've been on both sides of the class coin, if that makes sense. And I think it's always good to assume or try and find a reason for everything else before we get to racism. Do you know what I mean? For why somebody didn't say hi to me in the store, but they did to the person in front and person behind me. Because I think it's important to be like, okay, it could have been racism, but that shouldn't be the first conclusion we come to. That should be the last thing after we've explored everything else. Because at the end of the day, you see what you want to see. The world reflects what you want to reflect. So if you think everybody's racist, you will find racism in everyone.
That's what, and this is what I really need people to understand is that, like, it wasn't until I had a conversation on Pearl's podcast, I think it was with Jay Waller and Sneeko.
Yeah.
And they basically said that racism exists as much as you speak about it. And this is the problem we're having in our communities, that Black people were so focused on who's racist, who's trying to call me this, who's trying to do that. And it manifests into our life. When you just look at things from just a simple logical perspective, that maybe this person didn't want to do this, or maybe this person's having a rough day, or maybe I broke that person's law within their store. Maybe it's just that and not racism. And it's also offensive to people like myself who have actually experienced racism. Like I grew up in an all-white school. You don't know racism until you've grown up in an all-white school. It was hard. So when I see people calling these little situations racism, it's almost offensive to my experience. Like,
yeah, of course.
So
do you see yourself as a woman first or a Black person first?
A woman. I'm a woman first. Yeah. I love being Black. I love my Congolese culture, but women first. Yeah.
It's so weird. There's so much identity politics. It's like, if you are this, then you must think this, and I've had this experience quite a few times myself. And it's almost a lot of time that it ends up dividing a community. I feel like there's a division happening in the Black community right now.
It's literally like, it's the word fascism or Marxism. Is one of those ones, but that's what this world is turning into. What the West is turning into is like the Black community is becoming the superior community, and everyone else is inferior. You can't tell us we're wrong. You can't correct us. You can't do anything, because what do we say? Racism, and then boom, the conversation's done. We've already run. And people don't understand that anytime someone's the privileged race, no one wins. Like, was Martin Luther King fighting for us to be equal? Like everyone has an equal opportunity, or was he fighting for us to be the superior race? No one wins that way. It's not even godly.
I do get that. I think it's a bit much to say that black people right now are seen as a superior race, because black people really aren't in the positions of power right now, and they're not, you know, I think it is, and Chris Rock said this in one of his stand-up, he was like, the people with the most shit get to say the least shit, and the people with the least shit get to say the most shit.
Yeah.
So I think because black people generally in the West have always been generally having the least amount of shit, we've been the most vocal. And I think a big part of that is because when you are not in a position where you have a level of influence to protect yourself, being vocal is the only thing you have, right? Which is why people are so quick to protest, which is why people are so quick to like tweet and, you know, give their verdict on something. Because the people up there, they don't say anything. And a lot of the time they don't say anything because they have stuff to lose in case somebody disagrees with them, right? But I think in terms of socially, in terms of when it comes to criticism, I agree. It's almost like trying to make black people sometimes a protected class because we can cry racism. I mean, every race can cry racism apart from white people for some reason. A lot of people say that black people can't be racist. Do you think that's true?
Black people can't. I might get cancelled for saying that. I might get cancelled.
Speak your truth, girl. Speak your truth.
The most criticism, the most judgment, the most everything I've received in my life has been from black people.
Interesting.
Has been from black people. I remember I made a video on TikTok basically saying I'm done with wigs. Like, I'm done with wearing like frontal wigs and I just want to do like more natural hairstyles, like just weaves and tapings and whatever. Do you know how many black girls came from me in the comments? Really? Babe, you're not even that cute. Babe, your hair wasn't even that laid. Your lace wasn't even that cute. So much criticism, all because I refused to conform to the European standards that they complain about. I've now refused to go into that standard, and now you guys have a problem with it. And now I'm every name under the sun. And people were sending me like books, like literally you're sending me a whole book on DM talking about black women have experienced this. We've went through so much oppression, and you know the what's that saying? White beauty standard and so on and so forth. I'm just like, babe, you do realize black women are the only women continuing this beauty standard. If I walk out to the street and my lace is lifting, a white woman's not going to say anything. It's the black people that are going to laugh. It's the black people that are going to speak about it. It's the black people that are going to get out the camera and be like, oh my gosh, her lace is lifting. So even just like some of the topics that we have within our community, everything is always light skins versus dark skins. You're brown, you're this, you're that. Like, within our own community, we're all races within ourselves. Look at the way we go out killing each other, knife crime, black on black crime.
Why do you think, with those girls, why do you think it's black women who seem to criticize you the most when you start doing these things over anyone else? Why do you think they come for you like that?
I think, I'm trying to say things in a way without getting cancelled.
Speak your truth. Be honest, man. Be honest.
I think with black women, how do I say this? I think women in general, accountability is hard for us. Women are not very great when it comes to being accountable. So for example, like for a guy, you tell him in order to get a girl, you have to have a six-pack. He's going to go to the gym. Right. You tell a woman that in order to do that, you have to lose weight. She's going to say, well, body positivity. Don't tell me what to do. So women in general, is hard to be accountable. Now with black women, if you add the aspect of it being hard to be accountable and you believing that you're the oppressed group, that's why I think black women get the most, come at me the most, if that makes sense.
Why? Because they feel that they're most oppressed?
They feel the most oppressed, and accountability is just hard for women in general. Right. Do you understand? Yeah. So, and that's a cycle that I want to break within the black women community, because I do get a lot of DMs from black women that I'm like, you're speaking facts. Like, I never knew this about wigs. Like, wigs are, like, the chemicals that we use on wigs, are you crazy? Like, my edges were literally eating itself up. Yeah. Like, it's dangerous. Yeah. But I don't know. I think within our community, we find it hard to accept that, like, what we're doing is wrong. Do you understand? Like, it's like, how dare you say that? You know, I remember I had one person message me. She said, I found your TikTok to be offensive. why are you offended that I don't want to do something with my hair?
It's a very good point.
Do you understand? So I feel like it makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable because there's an element of truth to that. There's an element to the truth to the fact that wigs create, face dysmorphia. You're uncomfortable with your natural self. Wigs rip out your edges. Wigs ruin your hairline. And you see that in the mirror every day, but you just don't want anyone to kind of tell you that. It's an uncomfortable truth. Yeah. So I think that's what it is.
How, have you had a different response from black men in regards to your take on these
things? Black men agree with me. The black men are like, you ghosters. The black men are like my best supporters. They're like, yes, you're speaking truth, you're speaking facts, because again, like not just the black thing, but men in general, like accountability and just that logical way of thinking is just so easy to them. And them as well, they're kind of getting tired of this whole like rebellious, like don't tell me what to do type of trend that's going on with women. So the black men, they rock with me. They really do.
It's true.
And because of that, now I'm a pick me. So
what is a pick me? What is a
pick me? I'm guessing is someone that does anything for male validation. Yeah,
that's funny because aren't there a lot of girls are posting half naked stuff online for validation anyway? Does that count as a pick me? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like when they have nothing to say, the first thing they say is you're just a pick me. No, I'm not a pick me. I'm just speaking facts, and that truth is hurting your heart. Is digging deep into an insecurity within yourself that you don't like.
Have you always been in this kind of mindset, or did you used to be? No. What you would say a lot of black Western women are in our community were before? Yeah,
so I remember. Oh, sorry. Repeat the question again. Just so like
the kind of black girls that you're saying will come after you because of this. Did you used to be one of those girls, as in with that kind of mindset?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I was in that whole like wave, but it wasn't until I started to get closer to Christ. Something about getting closer to God, you see life for what it really is. You know when people say Jesus is the way, the truth and the light, like the truth starts to really, I'm starting to see life for what it is.
Yes.
So that's when I started to realize like we're going backwards in our way of thinking. I'm going backwards. Like this excessive judgment of people. First of all, it says in the Bible we shouldn't be judging, but this excessive judgment, oh, your hair this, your makeup is not blended, this, you're this, da. We do it more in our own black community than we do any other community.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I got closer to God that I realized this constant division, this constant judgment, this constant, insecurity and covering yourself in all types of, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah, I agree. And the irony is, and a lot of black men are afraid to say this, the irony is black men think black women are beautiful and most beautiful when they're in their natural.
But if
I'm gonna get hate for that, but it's true.
But if you say that, you're insecure.
I'm insecure for saying that I want your natural beauty.
Yeah, you're insecure. Why can't you handle a girl who has her wigs? Why can't you handle a girl who's half naked on Instagram? You're insecure. That's the way of thinking.
Well, it's just a preference, isn't it? it's just mad because I remember I was shooting a film in Ghana. This was a few years ago. And I'm Nigerian, right? But I have to give it to the Ghanaian women. Ghanaian women are gorgeous. They're gorgeous. But they were wearing like, it was an all natural look. They had different hairstyles with this. They were using what they've got. And I think a lot of black men are like, sis, you're beautiful the way you are. Stop trying to, try to appeal to these European standards because that's not what you want. That's not what you have to offer. What you have to offer is something that, is more beautiful. Do you know what I mean?
But even that message alone, it is so offensive to people.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's so offensive. Just for me to say like, black woman, let's just calm down on the wigs a little bit. It's ruining our natural state.
Sure.
It's so, they think I'm actually coming for them. But black women are honestly for me the most beautiful species, especially when we're in our natural state, when we have a little dreadlocks and gold earrings and lip gloss, no makeup.
Yeah.
Well, even me, I used to be very heavy on the makeup. Ever since I slowed down, I genuinely feel much more beautiful.
Yeah.
And I just want black women to feel the same way. But again, you have to just be open to some form of like criticism and honesty. And I don't think a lot of people have reached that yet.
Even taking it now, like the beauty standard now is more black women because it's like hip hop culture now. Everyone's trying to get big lips. Everyone's getting big bums. Everyone's trying to have curly hair. Everyone's trying to like look very in the hip hop culture, which is black culture, right? At least in the West. So it's just kind of like, surely wouldn't that give more black women permission to just be yourself, how they are?
Yeah, be yourself.
Yeah, it's mad. I have to ask you this then. So did you see the slap with Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so what was your take on that situation?
I think
because a lot of people were like, you know, one side was like, yeah, Chris Rock shouldn't have said that, and Will Smith was defending his black woman, his black queen, and the other side was like, you know, he shouldn't have done that. So what's your take on it?
My take on that is that you have to marry the right woman. Honestly, Will marry the wrong. Why am I speaking weirdly? The wrong women. In the sense that prior to that, Jada was humiliating Will. The August Alsina thing, the sleeping with different men, her child wrote a letter to Tupac. He's just been humiliating her. So when someone's been humiliated that much publicly, I feel like he felt the need to prove his manliness. And he thought that the right way to do that was through slapping him. And it actually backfired. Yep. So because you saw that he laughed initially, but then when Jada gave him the look, he switched.
Yeah.
And this is why I always say, like, men, don't be simps. I'm so sorry. Don't be a simp to your woman. Like, be the leader in the relationship, because your woman, like, if your woman is controlling you, you're going to end up in the same situation that Will was in, to the point where she controlled you all the way to the point where you embarrass yourself now. So I feel what he did was so wrong. It was so stupid. He humiliated himself, and Chris isn't the problem. Your marriage is.
100%. That, I completely agree. That slap had nothing to do with the joke. It had everything to do with Will and his relationship with Jada. And I think the approach that he's taken with Jada is that there's a level of love and respect that he wants from her that I don't think he's gotten for a very long time. And so he thinks, well, if I do everything she wants of me, then eventually I will get it. And it's like, that's not how it works.
This is why simping ain't good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now as a woman, like, I'm telling you now, like, I'm less attracted to a man when he just wants to do everything for me.
Yeah.
I'm more attracted to a guy when he was just like, no, I'm going to do things my way, because that's how a man is supposed to be. Like, you take the lead and I kind of follow it. But if you're just letting me get away with anything and everything, that is not attractive.
But then in that sense, that's why when it comes to their relationship, I don't blame her, I blame him.
Yeah, they're both in the wrong.
Because if we're saying, you know, saying that the man's going to be in the leadership position, he's not done a very good job of that at all.
Not at all.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, like, the woman slept with your son's best friend, and they had like a red table talk when they broke it down and everything between those two, talking about it. Not once did she say sorry. Not once throughout that hour and a half talk, not once did she apologize. Everything, he was like, so why did you feel the need to do it? Like, just like, tell me like where it came from and everything. I understand there's this level of wanting to understand, you know, where someone else is coming from. But I'm like, well, not once did she apologize to you. Not once did she apologize, say, I'm sorry that I disrespected us, I disrespected you, I made a mistake, etc. Everything was her justifying it, but he didn't hold her accountable for the actions that she did for their relationship. And as the leader, he's supposed to do that. But she leads the relationship, so maybe that's why it is the way it is.
First of all, I don't know why she's not in jail. I don't know. I don't know why they haven't Bill Cosby'd her or something. That's disgusting. You slept with your son's friend.
Who's now gay.
He's gay now?
Yeah. He came out as gay. I think it was last year. Yeah. August is gay now.
Just gets worse.
Honestly, you can't write this stuff, actually.
I don't get it. Like, as the guys come into the house to just do playtime, play PS4, and the mum is seducing him. What the hell?
Listen, it's a madness.
It's sick.
Okay, so let me ask you, kind of touching on dating now. How do you feel, and this is a sensitive subject for many, especially black women, on interracial dating? Either black man be the white woman. Let's start with that.
Black man being with a white. I have to think about this because I've never really had an opinion on it.
That's why we're here. Yeah. I'm here to ask.
Interracial dating.
Yeah. Because a lot of black women, the narrative we hear is they don't like it, they have an issue with it. And they feel that every time a black man becomes successful, he dates Becky. Or if he's really attractive, he dates Becky. Like, I've had black girls come to me and be like, I bet you only date white girls. I'm like, what? Why?
You kind of look like the guy.
Tell me what that looks like. Explain immediately. What does that look like?
I don't know. I don't know.
What does it look like?
Okay.
What do I need? Do I need more chains? No. Do I need more watches? Do I need more bling? Is that what it is? Do I need more rings?
Maybe dreads or something.
Well, I mean, I had cornrows at one point.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had cornrows for like 6 years.
Okay, I believe everyone should date anyone because, again, I'm all about equal rights. So
Okay.
everyone should equally be able to go out and date who they want.
Right.
However,
Uh-oh.
I don't... Black women are going to hate me after this interview.
You be straight, boy.
I don't believe that black women should be upset about the fact that black men want to go and marry outside of their race.
Okay.
Reason being is because a lot of black women, and I'm not saying this just to say it, is you can see it online, you can see it on social media,
Okay.
don't like to be men's piece. We don't. I'm so sorry. Just look at black women in the media. The Sukianas, the Sexy Reds, the Cardi B's. What did they talk about? They just talk about cheating, scamming, using men for money. Niggas ain't shit. Men are trash. You don't see white women saying that. It's the black woman. It's the black woman.
It's true.
So when you say these
Well, that's
things,
true in reality. That's definitely the narrative in the media.
I'm telling you, when it comes to bashing men, black women are heavy on that. They take up a huge percentage. And I don't mean this to say I'm against women. Like I just speak on things based on what I can see.
Sure.
I'm not against black women at all. But when it comes to bashing men, black women are heavy on that. Niggas ain't shit. I don't need a woman. Are the single ladies? Are the single ladies? It's black women that
herself,
do that.
Beyonce.
Exactly. So then when black women decide, oh wait, they don't need me. They don't want me. I'm going to go date outside of my race. You shouldn't complain. Why? Don't complain. Niggas ain't shit, remember? Men are trash.
Yeah.
There's no need to complain.
Do you think there's an element of, because there are some black men who are trash in terms of how they treat women. They step out, once they become a father and stuff like that, they don't step up to a plate and, be responsible. So there is that out there. But do you think there's an element of, because that's been such a common narrative that we hear, do you think there's an element of, when someone says, okay, you can't do something, and sometimes some people go, I'm definitely this person. If someone says I can't do something, I'm going to be like, I'm going to show you that I can. Right? Do you think that there's that element of black women going, yeah, black men ain't shit, for us black men to go, okay, I'm going to show you that I am this shit, just to prove to you. And then that makes him become the kind of man that she wants. Do you think there's that element, or do you think it comes from a place of more kind of, I guess, disdain, essentially?
Like, are you trying to say that men have left black women because they want to prove to black women that I can be?
Well, I think, are black women saying that black men are trash, right? To try and make the black men
fix
themselves?
Yeah.
Or do you think they're saying it because they generally believe men are just trash?
I think they genuinely believe, okay, no, I actually do think women do that because they want men to fix up. Like, I've even done it myself. Every time, like, say my ex pissed me off or cheated, I went online and I was throwing shade just to make him feel like, how could you do that? Make him feel guilty.
Right.
But what black women don't understand, that does more harm.
Yeah.
It does more harm.
Yeah.
I had to learn that the hard way. Every time I was posting these quotes, these thirst traps to get back at him, he got more put off me.
Yeah.
Like I saw something the other day where a man said that, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, go for it.
Men respond to femininity or something. Men respond to softness. Like,
yes.
You guys don't respond well to women that do that whole rah, 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 rah. You guys respond to women who are just much more calm. Do you understand? So I think black women do that to kind of make men feel guilty, but they don't realize is working against us, because it's like, from my understanding, again, I'm not a man. I think men just want peace. I think that's just what they just want. They just want peace.
That's very true.
And if a whole community is against them, they're just going to be like, okay, do you know what? I'm just going to leave. So it is backfiring, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I've said that before. That is something men value a lot in a partner, in a woman that he chooses, especially if he's a masculine man on his purpose. And then when a guy does become successful, it's kind of like, it's not that he now chooses white women. It's that, well, he's now desirable to women of all races. So he can choose the kind of woman who he feels is going to support him and encourage him and be a compliment to his life. And out of how many races, I mean, statistically, it's not you know, if you say it's like a 20% chance it's going to be a black woman, do you know what I mean? But actually most successful black men are with black women. It's just the ones that aren't are the ones that
get the most thing.
Get the news.
And another thing I would say to black women is just choose good men. I feel like just choose good men. Like my dating life was horrible because I was just going for like the hood niggas, the bad boys. Like that's what I wanted. And I realized like it's not helpful. So now I like I said, I just want the church boy. I just want the good working guy.
That's a massive switch.
I just want a good guy. But it's like a lot of black boy, you literally went and had a baby with a guy who ain't shit. He has not a penny to his name. True. And now you're going online complaining like we're supposed to do something.
Yeah, actually that's true. Yeah, you can't complain about the baby because you chose to lie down and have his baby.
But then again, that comes with like women and accountability. Like, I don't know what happened with this whole feminist thing, but it took away women's ability to just be accountable. Like, yes, men ain't shit. Like, I've heard some very rough horror stories when it comes to men.
Yeah,
but us women as well. Like, why do we go for these men in the first place?
Why did you go for the hood guys, the bad boys? What was it about them?
I think a lot of it is like the excitement. Do you know what I mean? That excitement of like, you know, the good guys is just like, hi, how are you? Good morning. And that's it. But the bad boys, they'll kind of rough you up. Like they're just a bit more fun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And girls just like that kind of excitement, that danger. But that's when you're immature. But now that I'm grown and I want something more peaceful, I don't care for that at all.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is the media as well. If you look at the portrayal of black men, it's just guys in chains, dreadlocks, rappers, cheaters, baby mamas. So that's what women think.
Where's the guys in suits?
Yeah. Where's the guys in suits?
Because they're out there.
Exactly.
I have plenty of men in my life who are that, but it's just not shown in the media.
Where's the scientists? Where's the all of that? They don't show that. So women think these are the type of men I should go for because these are the men who have status and wealth and whatnot. So yeah, girls, just go for good guys and you won't have any trouble.
I want to get to the bottom of it. What is it about me that looks like I date white women exclusively? I want to know because I've dated women from different races, black, white, whatever, right? But I want to know, what is it? Because there'll be guys like me out there be like, what is it that tells black women that this guy only dates Becky's? Like, what is it? Be real, be harsh, real, do it.
I feel like if I say it, it's just gonna go it's gonna go against everything I just said.
Just say it. Just say it.
I think it's because you're very well spoken. That just went against everything I said about race.
Okay.
Not only that, but you said you work in theatre and you're an actor. So I believe that's a heavily white industry.
It's quite diverse.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because like actors and artists are very we're very liberal, open-minded, right? So like half of my friends are part of the LGBT community.
Okay, yeah.
So like that kind of industry is very liberal. So compared to other industries, it's more diverse than your stereotypical industry. So no, it's quite diverse.
Yeah, but we love you the way you are. Don't change.
Listen, I ain't changing for anyone, but I was just curious.
This is the more representation we need in our community.
Listen, I appreciate it for sure. No, but I was just curious because I've got that before, and maybe it's because I'm well spoken. Because I mean, I grew up in a rough area, but then you know, there's like code switching, and especially some of my circles over the years, and even now. Because of the levels, it's kind of, there's a level of class and presentation you have to have for people to want to make contracts with you, make deals with you and hire you. And do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's interesting. Interesting. Any last thoughts? Anything you want to ask me? Any last thoughts on the matter?
I think I don't have any questions. Yeah. That's basically what advice would you give to me? Because obviously I admire the fact that you wake up every day and do what you love and enjoy. I think that's very aspirational. What advice would you give to someone like me or myself who can get to that stage where it's like they wake up and they're just doing what they enjoy?
I appreciate that. I would say continue evolving by 1%.
Okay.
Over time. So what I mean, a lot of time think, oh, well, I'm here and I'm trying to get to here, and it looks very daunting because it's like, to get to here, I have to get this, do this. And it's just like evolving things by 1%. So like anyone who's been watching my show, right? Like you've come, this is a new setup right now.
I love this. This is moody. Like,
this is do you know what I mean? We've got a nice tone, a nice feel. And that's just me changing the setup. Now people might not think, oh, he's just changing a bit of a lighting setup. That doesn't make a difference. But it does, because just by like, I upgraded the mics recently, the cameras as well. You know, it's even just like the type of guests that I get on, or in my acting career, it's just it's by involving and continuing to improve things by 1%. Because if you do that over an extended period of time, eventually you're going to see where you are and be like, wow, this is where I was. And then look at what's happening now.
Yeah.
And the curve, it's the quote unquote, let's say success curve, or the curve to get into the point where you want to be. It's a curve, it's not a straight line. So you'll be doing a lot of this work and you'll just be doing that, right? And you'll just be improving gradually. And then at some point it will start to rapidly kind of take off. Like I was invited onto the BBC like a few weeks ago just to debate Rebecca Reed, who's this raging famous independent feminist column writer or something. That's
amazing.
Do you know what I mean? And we were talking about dating and stuff like that. So I mean, you know, like, you know, I'm just continuing on this journey and stuff. So yeah, it can evolve by 1% every time. Just improve things little by little, because it all compounds.
Yeah. No, I love that, because I think I have that idea in my head where I need to be here, when really it's just baby steps, basically. Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing advice. I'm taking that on board.
Well, listen, we appreciate your time and energy.
Thank you so much.
As always. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
So you can follow me on Instagram _brown and bougie_. You can also find me on TikTok, brown and bougie 0. And you can also shop my jewelry, which is 2bougie.co.uk.
Perfect. We love it. Go check out her jewelry for sure.
Yes,
That's her business is going to be popping. Right, it already is starting to pop. It's going to be popping in the next few years. Watch this space. Watch this space. Well, Syntyche, we appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your energy with us.
Thank you so much.
Guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.